Okay, Bunny, this 13th sign natal chart reading is for you, and we're just going to create a little story, and I will go ahead and ask some questions pertaining to the houses that you find the planets and the signs in. So here we go. You are endowed with your rising sign, so we're going to find out where your rising sign is. It's this AS, and then that's the representation of it. The symbol for rising is AS, ascendant, and the actual sign is Virgo. So your rising is in Virgo, and it overlays your whole chart. So you have a Virgo influence in every one of these 12 houses here. And that means basically that you are endowed with always seeking perfection in every aspect of each of those houses. Always seeking perfection. With the personality of wherever your sun is placed. The sun represents your personality. It's your instinct to shine. So basically, when you look at the sun, it's shining on everything. So where's your personality and what's your personality all about? Your personality is here with Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is always about the quest. Could be the quest for meanings in life, could be the quest of knowing yourself more. It's an adventurer, basically. So your personality is that of an adventurer, an optimistic person, and a lucky person as well. And that's here in the third house. Now there is a certain placement, and for you, this is actually focusing on the conscious mind. So when you look at that sun in Sagittarius, it's focusing on the conscious mind. So we're also going to go a little deeper into that. In that sense, you're an adventurer when it comes to the conscious mind. So something that's going to spark your interest, you're going to dig deep into it. You're going to get to know it like a philosopher would. It would become your new philosophy, so to speak, the conscious mind, right? So, the question to ask yourself here in this third house, and I'll get back to, all of these guys here later too, but within all of the third house, you want to ask yourself, where am I? So this is the house of correspondence, your neighborhood, location, like local, the locality of everything, basically. And then over here, this is the first house. The rising sign will always be in it, and it's all about the self. Okay. That is the house of self. Who am I? Right? So whatever's going on in here, it's all about your identity. All right. So back to the story. And the emotional needs of, to tie into that personality, the emotional needs of, you're going to find is where the moon is. Your moon, exactly shaped like a moon, the symbol, is in Gemini. That's what this is, Gemini right here. And this is the 10th house. This is the house of career. Here you would ask yourself this question: what can I accomplish? So this is the house of accomplishments, the house of career, your public image. And this, since your emotions are tied to the way you communicate, because Gemini is all about communication. So here, you're emotionally adaptable and curious as well as driven. So when it comes to your career, curious, adaptable, and emotionally driven. You want to know, you're very curious, you're seeking the stimulation of, getting more information on things when it comes to your career. To convey your message of, and that's Mercury, and Mercury's over here in the third house. So just ask yourself that same question: where am I, right? So Mercury is all about communicating, and it's in Ophiuchus. This is the sign of Ophiuchus. And then where this is placed, that will be prioritizing short trips. So when taking your short trips and you're communicating In a sense, you are a crisis manager to help others that are going through some things. So you might go and take a short trip just to go and help someone that could be in a crisis of some sort, like they're having some kind of mental blocks or something like that, and you're there to help them out, you know. For example, if you were a manager of any type, and if there was a crisis within your store or company, you would have to literally stop what you're doing and go and take care of that, because that's what you're helping people that are on the edge, and you're really helping them in that crisis. So you are a crisis manager when it comes to communicating and short trips. All right. And love and value. What do you love and value? That's where Venus is placed. Venus is this feminine symbol here that I'm sure you've seen all over the world. Venus is in Aquarius. That's that wave sign right there. Now, it's placed in the fifth house. The fifth house is all about creativity. And you're going to ask yourself this question: what can I imagine? So it's all about your creativity. What can you imagine? And where it's placed specifically actually is centered on creativity. So what you love and value is something that could be innovative, because of Aquarius is all about innovation, introspection. I call Aquarius the psychic scientist. So basically, what do you want to dissect when it comes to creativity, so to speak? Okay. And that's what you love and value more than anything. You decide to take action right over here. Mars, the masculine symbol. So you got I've heard, you might have heard, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. There's those symbols right there. So here's Mars, also in Aquarius. And they're lined up with each other. They're in a conjunction, a powerful blend between the masculine and feminine. And for this one, Mars is all about the way you take action. It's the warrior, it's the pioneer. Mars, right? So in this sense, you would take action by a very innovative, introspective, unconventional, non-traditional way. And for this, it's going to be focusing on children. So you're dedicated to raising your children the way you're taking action, your will, your determination. You're dedicated to raising your children in a very non-traditional, unconventional, innovative way. Like, you don't want people to tell you how to raise your children. You're going to raise them the way you want to. And that's because your Mars is here in Aquarius. Aquarius is like a rebel, so you're basically like, don't tell me how to raise my children. I'm going to raise them the way I want to. And that's your Mars being in Aquarius for that reason there. To bring joy and gladness. Now, that is Jupiter. Jupiter looks like a yellow 4 right here. And your Jupiter is also the planet of expansion, luck. It's the natural ruler of Sagittarius, so you can see it's in a natural placement there. Sagittarius, I can say it again, the adventurer, the optimistic one. And here in the fourth house is all about home and family. So you want to ask yourself this question: what nourishes me? So how do you decorate your home now? How did you decorate your home as a child, right? And it's a very adventurous, optimistic way. Could be a philosophical way. And this is specifically going to be about an involvement with home and family. So in your house of home and family, how are you involved with your home and family that's bringing you growth and expansion and giving you meaning to your own life, right? Now moving on, and luck and fortune too go with your joy and happiness. The luck and fortune part is right here. It's called the part of fortune. It's this little cross here with the circle around it. So your part of fortune is what I just mentioned, the luck and fortune throughout your life. And it seems to be here in Pisces, and Pisces is all about introspection. It's all about dreams, visions. It's about compassion, intuition, sensitivity. And here in the sixth house is the house of service and health, your daily routines, your work life, your health. And the question you want to ask yourself here in the sixth house is, how do I work, right? How do you work? In this sense, though, because it is placed in a certain placement, you're going to also take into account how you work when it comes to making your contribution. So you're devoted to making your contribution right here. Okay. Now we're going to move to Saturn. It would benefit you to go through the lessons, and let's find out what lessons you have. Saturn is all about lessons. Saturn's all about, there is some constriction and there's some boundaries to learn. Saturn is about giving you those boundaries, those constrictions, only until you learn the lesson, and then you can move forward. Now Saturn here is in Libra. It's an exaltation, so in this sense there's a good balance for you when it comes to that. And for you, it's in the second house, the house of possession. So you want to ask yourself this question: what do I have? So your money, your objects, and your qualities. And there's a balance. It's a little dance of balance between what you have and what you don't have. Specifically, focusing on your money, right? So Saturn and Libra in the second house, learning about money, your have and your have-nots. And it's a dance, and it's a lesson that you learn throughout life about money and the balancing of it, right? You want to make sure you don't overspend, or you want to make sure you're not overly saving and now you're feeling like, well, crap, I need something. I should use my money for something that I want. So finding a balance between spending and saving in that sense. To heal your deep wounds. Now your deep wounds, you'll find Chiron, because it's shaped like a key. It's right over here. Your deep wounds, the wounded healer, Chiron, right? And Chiron happens to be in Taurus. Taurus is about structure. It's about stability, safety, security, and also luxury and beauty and art. And where your Chiron in Taurus is actually placed is within the 8th house, but it's the second part of the 8th house. So you want to ask yourself this question: how do I heal? And that's basically regeneration, rejuvenation. And where it is specifically placed, you want to focus on spotlighting the death and inheritance portion. So how do you heal when it comes to the death, the rebirth cycle, as well as the inheritance of things too? Like, there's a process, more than likely you feel a deep wound when it comes to death and inheritance, right? So digging a little deeper, we're going to find that there's a deep wound of safety and security, and you feel the need to heal whenever there might be a loss in your family or even in your friend's family. There is a need to go within and feel that peace once again, that safety and that security that resides within yourself, right? To get that healing within. Okay. And then once you are able to go through and heal those deep wounds, to then receive your talents and gifts, that's brought upon by Uranus. Uranus, once again, is in the 3rd house with those other, planets you're going to get into here. So Uranus is in Ophiuchus. And because it is in Ophiuchus, in the 3rd house, there's a certain placement. The fact that Uranus is in the 3rd house is determining the home ground. So We're going to get into what Uranus and Ophiuchus actually means. In this sense, you are a wanderer and a transformer. Maybe you feel like an outcast sometimes. And when it comes to your home ground, like where is home? And you wander and you transform the home ground as you go throughout life, changing things up. Like there's a unpredictability when it comes to transforming the home ground, right? It just happens. Don't get set on some routine, because the routine will surely change within time. The change is the only constant, so you can always count on change. And Uranus is all about change. Uranus is also about your psychic gifts and abilities as well. And the fact that it is in Ophiuchus, you got some special things, because Ophiuchus is the keeper of the esoteric wisdom. Ophiuchus is the great healer. Ophiuchus is some deep stuff. So look into that when it comes to your home ground. What is going on, right? To be the calm amidst the chaos, all that. Okay. And once you do that, to turn your dreams, now let's see where your dreams are. Your dreams are represented by Neptune, the keeper of the dreams, illusions, visions, the things that are hidden. Neptune, the dissolving of the ego. All right, and it looks like it's in Sagittarius, and it's in the 3rd house, so you're going to ask yourself that question again. Where am I? So it's the locality of things. And specifically where Neptune is going to be aiming at early education. So in the sense, you're going to find meaning in early education, and you're going to find meaning, philosophy, spirituality, like a deep spiritual thing for you, early education, right? Learning as you grow. Life being that dance to just dig deep into early education. Dreaming, maybe you were daydreaming in school. You're like, this is boring. I'm just going to start daydreaming. That kind of stuff, It's Neptune and the adventures. So, like, you have a pretty good imagination. The fact that Neptune is in Sagittarius, too. Like, you are able to tap into the dream realm. You go into the non-ordinary realm, especially when you were a child, right? Okay. To turn those dreams into your new reality is brought upon by Pluto. Once again, it's that 1st house, the house of the self, asking, who am I? Pluto helps you transform. And because Pluto is in Virgo, once again, that's Virgo. Pluto being in Virgo there's a transformation of self when it comes to your health, when it comes to your work, when it comes to technology. And where Pluto is being placed within that 1st house, you're going to be looking at your outlook on life when it comes to, once again, health, work, technology. Your outlook on life, the transformations happening, the taking down and the building back up of your health, your work, and your technology. And the outlook you have. Hopefully you have a positive outlook, because that would just benefit you more than anything to have that positive outlook on your new reality, right? Your reality is what you make it out to be. All right. So, to finally walk your true path is brought upon by this North Node. The North Node looks like a pair of headphones right here. Your North Node is in Taurus. Once again, Taurus, the stability, the security, the structure, the beauty, the art. And it's in the 8th house. So once again, in this sense, you're going to ask yourself a different question. What am I becoming? So what are you becoming? Because it's over here in the 1st half, which is ruled by Scorpio naturally. So what am I becoming You're walking your path of transformation when it comes to the occult involvement. So you're fixating on the security, the safety, the beauty of the occult involvement, right? Digging a little deeper, you'll find that you desire to know secrets and esoteric wisdom and learning the value of beauty within those secrets and esoteric wisdom. Okay. And show the world who you really are. That's brought upon by the midheaven. Your midheaven's in Gemini. Your midheaven is always going to be in the 10th house. It's always going to be right here, the public image. Your moon is tied with the public image as well. You could see there's a conjunction between your moon and your midheaven, so they have a powerful blend. Your emotions are tied to your public image as well. Show the world who you really are. You're a networker and a natural salesperson, and your emotions, once again, as I mentioned, are tied to that too. And that 10th house, once again, is that question, what can I accomplish? Well, you can accomplish quite a bit because you're a networker and a natural salesperson, not only being that person, your public image, but also your emotions being tied to it as well. So it's amplifying that you're a networker and you can really penetrate the hearts of people being that networker and that natural salesperson. Like, you don't have to try and convince anybody because you have the power of persuasion, and you don't have to try. It's just natural. You're a natural salesperson. Okay, so we went through all of the planets and the signs, but now you see there are some houses here that are empty. So we're going to go through those too. And the 7th house is the house of relationships. And you want to ask yourself this question: who am I with? And that's the relationship with yourself and other. Not others, other. Just yourself and other. Marriage, partnerships, your shadow, all of that going on in the 7th house. Okay. And you seem to have mastered the 7th house, so you are energetic with the desire for deep connections. All right. Now we are going into the 9th house. The 9th house you've mastered as well. The 9th house is about mental expansion, right? The question here is, what do I understand? That's your new experiences, your holistic thinking, and the big picture, right? What do I understand? In this sense, you understand quite a bit because you have an inquisitive and pleasant approach to your understanding of things. Now we move into the 11th house. Here, this house is about friendship, social groups, humanitarian projects, futuristic things going on, right? The natural house of Aquarius. In this sense, you want to ask yourself this question: where is my community? So, how are you a team player and a friend? Searching for your community. You have a strong focus on your friends because you've mastered this. You have mastered the art of friendship, which is pretty awesome. All right. Moving here to the 12th house. This is the house of the dissolving of the ego. It's the house of karmic lessons, the house of past life experiences. In this sense, you want to ask yourself this question: how do I let go? So the secret side of you, your solitude. As I mentioned before, who are you when no one else is around? So that's this house right here. And you are a person that can solve problems and convey ideas with great compassion and using your intuition as well when it comes to that. You got your compassion, your intuition, and you're pretty good at solving problems. And you do it with compassion. And you convey you convey your ideas with compassion. And these ideas are brought upon by your intuition. So, in a nutshell, we'll go over this real quick. Just a recap on the houses. The first house, the house of the self, your identity. Second house, the house of possessions, what you have. Third house, the house of communication, how you communicate. Fourth house, your home and family life. How is your property? How is your home? Fifth house is the house of creativity and entertainment. The sixth house is the house of health and service, your daily routines, your work. The seventh house is the house of relationships. So that's the way you basically are with yourself and with other. And then the eighth house is the house of taboo, the house of occult involvement, the house of other people's money, the house of sex, all that good stuff. Regeneration, rejuvenation, it's all in this house right here. And then the ninth house, the house of mental expansion, right? And the 10th house, the house of career, your ambitions, your goal, your ultimate goal, like working toward the long goal right there. The 11th house, the house of friendship, and the we collective, or the collective involvement, the we awareness, friendship circles, social groups, all in that 11th house. And then the 12th house, the house of self-sacrifice, which brings inner growth, the house of seeking after a new self, the house of completions, the house of conscious eternal bliss. So Buddha once said, if you find that you can detach from all things, you can seek enlightenment, because attachment leads to misery. So, in a sense, once you learn to detach from the material things in life, you're able to move forward on your quest to spirituality. And it seems like you've got that down pretty well, because your 12th house is mastered. All right. Well, thank you once again, Bunny, for allowing me this opportunity to give you this reading and to go into your chart and interpret it, your blueprint here. I look forward to hearing from you, so go ahead, comment down below, and if you haven't done so yet, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.